Hello everyone. In this video, we will create a file called apisetu.py. This file is going to interact with our client API Setu, and we are going to fetch the data. Let's start. So, I am at this folder. I am creating a file with the command. So you can create this file with any name. So the purpose of this file is basically to interact with the third party. It is very easy to create file with the client name so that we know actually with what client we are going to interact. So I generally prefer to have the same name. You can also provide it like request.py or something like that, but since request file or this might have a confliction with the package, not exactly confliction like it is going to conflict, but the name similarity, that's why I try to avoid that and have the same name. So now since we have this, I'm going to create a class with the same name API Setu, and this is going to have a default constructor. So let's first of all let's create the skeleton of the class. Over here, I know I want to have 4 different function methods. First of all, I am going to get states, and this state get states method, it is return the list of states returned from Kobe or say API Setu.org, whatever it is. Now I have another function called get district. Since we know that district URL is going to require a state ID, so I need to have a state ID over here, and with this particular state ID I am going to get the data. Next, I want appointment by district, so let's create get appointments by district, and over there it is going to have district ID. I can also see the parameter date, so I also need to pass on the date over here. Then I'm going to have appointments by pin code. Essentially, this is the same functionality, so I just duplicated the function method by pin code, and over here I need to pass pin code because I know I need to have pin code and dates. So this is it. So I need to have so over here this class is going to have 4 simple methods: get states, get districts, get appointment by district, and get appointments by pin code. So what essentially all these methods are going to do is they are going to call API Setu APIs. Let's see. In order to call a get request or post request, I need a package called requests, and I don't have the package. So when we don't have any of the package, I need to install a package. Okay, seems like it is here. So first of all, let's import URL. Let's import state URL, and response equal to request dot this is not the request which we are looking for. Now, so this is not the request. I need to first of all install request package. So how I can install it? I'll just open the shell. I need to make sure that my virtual environment is enabled. I can say pip install requests. So what it is going to do is it is going to install the request package library. Now since I have installed request, let's use it. At the same time, as a habit, what I am going to do is I am going to create a file called installed packages. I am going to create this file by installed packages. Here I am just going to mention all the package which I installed throughout the development of my project. It's a good habit. It's a good habit because you know what explicit package you have installed. In case if you need to recreate the virtual environment, you can do that. Before that, the one package we installed is Django only, and the second package we install is request. So whatever package we are going to install in our project or we are going to use in our project, we are going to mention that in the install package file. Seems like we have misspelled it, so we can simple rename it with this command. Yeah, you need to know a little bit of command usage or Linux command usage. Yeah, what error I am getting over here is requests. Let's see. Now this is pointing to a correct request. I can say response equal to requests got get, and this requires a URL. What URL we need? State URL, and let's just print the response what we get. From APIs.API-Setu import. What I want to import is API-Setu. My object is, let's create object. Oops, my bad. Yeah, I've got the object. Let's call the getStates method. And we received a 403. Wow. At least we received something. So we are successfully calling the API. Let's try it again with a debugger point. I just add a debugger point. Okay, seems like it's already. Okay, not working. No worries. Yeah, now it worked. So let's see what we have received in the response. It says something not allowed, the request could not be satisfied, we cannot connect to the server, or at this time this might be much traffic and all, blah blah blah. So basically this service is not allowing us to connect right now. So how we can do that? There is a small trick. There is small trick to do that. How? Let's see. If I go there, let's just inspect. Go to the network. What they are saying? Yes. There is this API call, right? The same one which we are calling. V2 admin location and states, they are calling the same API, but our API is failing and this API is getting success. Then a simple trick is just to copy as curl. Maybe you might be using the Postman. Just go to import, click on raw, just import it and try to run it. Why I am not getting response? Because of this issue, e tag, there is no change. So now since I am not sending e tag, it is returning me all the states. Now just go to over this code and search for Python request. So pretty much you get a simple code, just copy it. Let's see if it is working. Just copy the complete code and go to your shell now and paste it. Yes, you are getting the states correct. Let's make our code working. Just comment this stuff and just little bit of formatting. I know this URL is nothing but simple this URL. So let's say this URL has state URL, payload, headers and everything, and that's all. Let's try again now. We need to make sure that our code is properly formatted and there is no error by ID. So that's where ID helps. We get to know a lot of indentation error or some other error. We get some red tilted lines over here. So it was from API Setu, then it was object, and then okay, seems like we missed something. Yeah, it was oh, we got this thing working. Import is already there. Let's remove this and let's run it again. Obj.get states, and yes, we are getting the state IDs. So with this simple trick works, we are able to successfully call the API Setu's APIs. And let's just do a simple stuff. Let's move these headers to the config file and say API say to headers. And let's just use it over here, and we need to import it over here, and pretty much it's simple stuff. We don't need any payload now, and instead of printing we can say return response.text and better response.json. So in district also we are going to use the same code. So let's say this. Over here I need to pass the state ID, then URL is district URL. Let's import the district URL. I'll say district URL, and since over here we have a variable at a district URL which is state ID, I need to pass on this variable as well. So I'll just format the string. Sorry, it's state ID. Yeah, so district URL requires a state, then this is the URL. Again, no changes at all, it just worked. Let's just reload. Something happens. Okay, this indentation got broken, my bad. So first of all we get the state ID. One is for Andaman and Nicobar. Let's call the districts. Let's copy the name and let's pass the state ID as 1, and yes, we got the district as well. So now we are successfully able to call districts and states with the help of these headers. And what if these headers, we don't pass any headers over there? Let's try again if we can do that. So I am able to call the districts get states now, since I am passing API say to headers. And now let's call the district, and what it is saying, I've got exception because I have not passed any headers and API just failed. So in order my API to work, I must pass these headers, otherwise it will not work at all. Since I know that in the get appointments by pin code and district, again I need to call the same stuff. Let's create one method called send request and pass the URL, right? And just copy this stuff. That's not printed. And return response.json. Okay, let's do one thing. If response.status code equal to 200, then only return response else erase exception. Invalid request failed, error, response.text. So when our request passes, we will get 200. We will just return the response. Otherwise, what we will do is we will raise exception, and in that case, in that scenario, we have created one internal method. Let's call it with underscore, and we don't need it now. What we can do is we can simply say self dot underscore send request and URL, and pretty much it will work. Over there, same thing will work over here as well. Let's try. Yes, it is working. And if I say obj dot get districts and I pass the district ID, it is working. Right. So we have successfully refactored our code. We have created a center function which will interact with a third party, and we have individual method calls which have their own responsibility of calling a particular API and formatting it. In the next video, we will complete these two methods, and also we will add our object files as well. So we have created these objects. We will add those objects. Where it gone? Okay, we had created objects. We are going to create get appointments by district and get appointments by import method. So yeah, so in order to do that, we know that import is going to require import and date, and let's do the documentation as well. So I'm on the page and it requires these two strings in this format. So let's implement the method. It's pretty much same as the previous. URL is going to be this one, appointments by pen. First of all, I need to import it over here. Let's import all the constants by default instead of importing one by one, because these are the constant files. Let's import everything on format. I know import. So this pin code, basically this pin code is referring to this particular pin code as a variable, and this pin code is referring to the value. Date equal to date, and we are going to return self underscore send request and URL. That's it. Yeah, along with this, what we are going to do is we are going to install another package called IPython. So I'm installing IPython. IPython is simple braided version of Python shell. So it provides me a shell where I get extra functionality over the current shell. The current shell is like very basic and it's not that much interactive. With this IPython, it provides me a lot more information, lots more functionality, and lot more readability as well. So yes, we are using IPython, and it's an enhancement over Python, right? So what I'm going to do is
appointments by pin code. I'm going to pass input as this and date as today's date. Today is 22nd of May, so it's 22/5. This is the format which he asks: date, month, and then year. And yes, after passing this thing, I have nicely got the response. So since this is the JSON response, which is not very usable to me right now, we will construct a more useful response in the object. Let's implement another method by this appointment by district. Again, same format. Appointment by district, and if I say format district ID equal to district ID and equal to what I'm going to return is run send dot right. So let's rerun the shell. And for this, I would require a district ID. Let's see. So let me just create an object. First of all, I need to get states. This is the state ID. Let's say state ID is 36. Then I need to call get districts with ID is 36. I get all these district IDs. I can pass. So since I've got district ID 77, I can say appointment, get appointment by district, and I need to pass 737, and then I need to pass on the date. Date is again today's date. There is some issue with this API. Calendar by district. Let's see one thing. The problem I could see is the string formatting. So it provides me LD options. Let's see. Let's debug what is wrong. Let's see what is the URL query. Am I passing the correct parameters? Right. And then is great. So there might be some issue with the URL. So we just copied the complete URL and added these functions, added these parameters after formatting. I'm getting successfully. So I'm successfully able to call all my four functions: import by district, one by pin code, one by district, get district, and get state. In the next video, what we will do is we will return only the objects what we require. So currently this data we are not processing this data. Right? So in the next video, we will create some useful objects out of this data. We created the object file. So in the next video, we will use the object file and see how we can use it more intuitively, so that we can perform lot more